Hello, my name is Katina Horton, and I am the Love and Freedom Toxic Relationship Recovery Coach. And today we're going to talk about why did I stay in this toxic relationship for so long? And I know some of you guys are wondering that question, right? How in the world could I have stayed in this toxic relationship for so long and have wasted my life like this? And it's not a one-part answer. There are several things involved in why you stayed in it for so long. And one of those situations could have been the fact that you were concerned about not having your family intact, as far as the kids having a mother and father present, right? Mother, father, and children there. You know, you might even have a dog in the mix, right? But having that whole family unit intact, right? Fear of releasing that and letting that go, and your children not having what they needed, right? Another reason that you might have stayed may have been for financial reasons. You realized that you didn't make enough money, and so the devil got into your mind that some kind of way you're not going to be able to make it without this individual because of the fact that he was the breadwinner. You start thinking there's no way I can find a job to be able to take care of me and the kids. And so you figure the only way to make it basically is to just stay in it and to keep enduring emotional, mental, spiritual abuse, etc., you know, at the sake of keeping your finances in order or being able to have access, right, to more money to be able to do some of the things that you're doing now, right? And then another reason that you may have stayed is because you're a Christian. You're thinking, if I can just figure out the magic formula to fix him, if I can love him enough, I know I can get him to stay. There's not that much loving in the world. And what we tend to do is we take our goodness, right, and our love that's inside of us, and we think it's enough to love someone into loving us back properly. There's not that much love in the world. I promise you that, right? We cannot love someone into loving us properly. That has to be something that's gotten from God, and that has to be something that person, individual, has to do in order to get their character deconstructed and rebuilt, right, with their identity in Christ. But they have to want it. It's nothing that anyone else, anybody can do, myself included, to make someone else love, and then not only just love me or love you, but to love, respect, and to honor you and to value you, right? The only person that can value us the most is God, right? He created us. He knows our value. So we cannot force someone else to appreciate and to value us, right, more than he himself, okay? And so another reason that you probably stayed in it is due to your narcissistic partner appearing to have empathy. And I know Dr. Ramani, she likes to call it performative empathy is what they end up having. So by them going around performing as if they're in this theater production all the time, what appears to be empathy is only this big production going on, okay? It's just like basically a robot that's just going through the motions. That's the best way to put it. You know how it is when your heart is not really in something, and you don't feel like doing something, but you go ahead and do it anyway because you know that your kids need some project done, need you to need something to wear, and their clothes too small, so you go to the store, whatever. So with them, it's more than just not feeling like doing something, but it is still a going through the motions without that empathy being there. But because they're doing everything, they are watching other people. You see what I'm saying? Any of us can go and watch something on YouTube, and we can watch that show for hours. We can learn how to bake. We can learn how to cook. We can learn how to sew and all of that. However, we might not have the inside ingredient of having the foundation of knowing why you don't mix certain things together, right? And even with science, why you don't mix certain chemicals together. Even if we learn how to make the most famous experiments in the world, we have not had the background of schooling to know certain things, right? That would take us to the next level. So when narcissistic individuals are missing empathy, that's an important component of knowing whether or not in relationships that they will just keep continuously going and tearing people down or not. Because you can see A person, unfortunately, who has narcissistic brokenness go from 1 minute of smiling in one person's face, you know, and this is mainly too with covert narcissists, smiling in certain individuals' faces whom they're trying to have this certain image right in front of. And then another person who they consider as being the scapegoat, right away, you'll see them change over and chop that person up and belittle them. Get this for me. I told you to do this. And then the other person come back in the room. Oh, hey, Tiffany, how you doing? The reason why you can see them doing, because this is just a performance. Everything about them, unfortunately, comes from a false sense of self. And with empathy, it's the same thing. And so then another reason, which leads us to another reason why you stayed in it so long, is probably because of the fact that because they're doing this performative empathy and it appears they didn't know how to do everything properly, right? What it is that they point out your deficiencies, and those deficiencies might very well be true. However, because they're pointing out all of your deficiencies and they're appearing not to have any problems, right? Because they don't look at emotional and mental abuse as an issue, that type of mistreatment, right? But they don't appear to be to have those issues that you have. So it's easier for you to get sucked into the fact of thinking that it's just you. And so then Satan starts playing in your head, and you start thinking that when you start playing this tape recorder in your head, I'm unworthy. This is what I deserve. I deserve to be in this type of relationship because I'm not going to be able to find anyone better than this. You know, I don't know how to communicate well. And the communication issues could be dealing with anxiety. It's not like a communication issue, but it's an anxiety where you might be talking out too fast or something like that. There's a lot of different things that could be going on. It could be perfectionism, people pleasing, all of this kind of stuff. But because they keep pointing out those things that are true, right, that are broken and need to be fixed inside of you, it takes the mirror away from them, if that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? And so you tend to focus on what it is you're doing because of the fact that they keep constantly removing that mirror away from them because they cannot look at themselves and still be able to function. They have to keep that false sense of self going. And so because of that, you get caught up in the loop of thinking that you deserve to be with this person because you can't find anybody else, because you are so horrible at this, that, and the other, and you got all of these different problems going on, when the truth of the matter is they have just as many problems, if not more, than what you've got going on with character, toxic character brokenness. But because they keep focusing on the things that are deficient in your character, it takes the mirror away from them. And so you just end up in this vicious loop of ongoing drama. Last reason that you are still in a toxic relationship is because you are going up and down. Okay? They're being put high up on a roller coaster because this individual is making a few changes. And then you think it's sufficient enough for you to hang in there, right? They're giving you false hope, but then only to allow that sixth sense to come in, where they sense that you're like hanging on to that false hope, and then you're dropped back down to the bottom and you're going back up and drop back down. That is just reinforcing trauma bonds, and it's also reinforcing the soul ties that you have with them. So I hope that this video helped. If you need more assistance, go to www.thevalleyofgrace.com. Okay? You go to thevalleyofgrace.com and you can book a call and get some help. There's free coaching, and there are people out there who are donating so that you can get help. God bless, and until next time, bye-bye.